So question from Mr. Joel Marie. How do we correct our walk when we have anterior pelvic tilt and a hyperextended lower back? So number one, you probably don't have true anterior pelvic tilt. You probably have more what I call anterior pelvic tension, which is more just an imbalance in the muscles, and generally it's because your glutes are kind of weak and lazy because you don't use them enough, basically. So when we talk about sort of compound movement skills, even things like walking, although they seem low level, we basically have like two issues to contend with. One is the software, the technique, and then one is the hardware, which is all the things that kind of go together, components that go together to help you do that particular movement or skill. So for a software issue, that's like, imagine someone's doing a squat or a deadlift and they have an error, and I give them a coaching cue, and they change their technique, and they can lock it in, then we know it's a software problem. However, especially with a lot of back issues, because of things like arthrogenic muscular inhibition, we lose control or connection to those hardware components, and it's very hard then, if not impossible. I can give you all the cues in the world, but if you're missing skill with a particular hardware component you need to do that movement, there's no way you can kind of like outthink it or rewrite the software because you're missing that component. So with walking, probably number one contender is glute control. So we'll assume for simplicity that it is just the glutes and nothing else going on. So you need to make sure before you start looking at trying to change your walking gait and pattern, make sure that you can get the glute to burn on things like glute squeezes or clams, glute bridges, extensions, all those kind of fundamental glute skills to control and stabilize the hip and make sure you can actually feel them working. A good idea is to get them warm in a few sets of those base exercises and then go for a walk so you get what we call skill transference. So the nervous system is aware of that hardware component, what it should do, and it's kind of ready to start relearning how to use that component to let you walk properly. So let's assume you've done a good job with the glute work and actually got some connection to the glutes, you can feel them burn when you do the exercises and actually get them engaged correctly. Once you have that, we need a bit of skill transference into walking. So the biggest thing with walking, again, if you're familiar with the work of Professor Stuart McGill, you'll know that, when I see it all the time, people that have back pain tend to walk kind of like very stiff-shouldered. There's a lot of sort of lateral movement. They're kind of flat-footed like this, very sort of quad-dominant movement, very slow, very inefficient. What we need to be able to get our glutes to work is to have a nice, tall posture, loose shoulders, and a fairly brisk walking pace. So, if I'm going from this to now I'm a lot more loose on my shoulders, I'm a lot more efficient, and I'm walking a lot quicker, even though I'm expending less energy. But to get to that, you might have to do some work on the hardware foundations first of all, and the skill transference will come a lot easier.